All right, welcome to the second episode of the DMG Third and Wrong podcast. I'm Mike, and then we got Gage and Dylan here today. How you guys doing? Yeah. Dylan, how you doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Doing
Hell
good.
yeah, I'm in the
Actually,
same boat as you, buddy.
It would be a lot better, but so last night I went to bed beating my wife at fantasy football.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oof.
So
Close one.
funny story though.
Huh.
So funny though is we started Monday morning. We were tied at 105 apiece. We were tied with one player left to go for each of us.
Oh,
We had Odell Beckham Jr.,
rip.
and her kicker Matt Gay.
Oh,
So high scoring players, right?
Yep.
So I checked the game right before it starts. I checked the fantasy stats, and I'm actually up for some reason by 0.8 because they adjusted Tony Pollard. I think he had like a stack correction. And so I started with a 0.8 point bonus. And so the game goes on. Nothing happens with any of them because the Rams just got blindsided by the Niners. And the game ends, and I'm up by 0.2 points.
Nice.
So I won, right? And so I tried to be calm and like not brag too much, but I was like, "Dang, at least I did lose my wife." But the next morning I wake up and I check it, and she's like, "Hey, by the way, I won." I was like, "No, you didn't." I look back, they re-corrected it. So Tony Pollard got his 8 yards back, and I lost by 0.8 points.
Damn.
So I'd be doing a lot better now if that didn't happen.
Well, you know,
That's-
it happens.
I got rinsed, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, same.
This is a bad week.
If only I could have some receivers that could actually play for once.
It sucks when your running back gets COVID and then, Aaron Jones and Leonard Fournette decide that, scoring touchdowns or getting the ball is not for them.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, AJ Dillon just ruined your night, didn't he?
I played against
Dude,
him.
I told you. I think I said something about, dude, you better start AJ Dillon instead or something with your luck.
I don't have it. I don't have him. I tried.
There you go. That's your mistake right there.
All right. Well, let's get to
Dylan,
it. Yeah.
I'm going to start with you. How'd the Colts do this weekend?
Dude, I predicted it, didn't I?
You did. Close game there.
So dumb. It's so dumb because you know exactly what's going to happen. The Colts get up. They get up by 2 or 3 scores. And they're just like, hey, you know what? You know what's a good idea? Let's run Jonathan Taylor up the middle 14 times.
Because one of these times it's going to work.
Idea. And then when that doesn't work for the first 2 downs, let's throw it out wide to our tight ends and let them make some moves up the field. Yep. Oh, shoot. Now we have to punt 4 times in a row. No, I knew that it was going to happen that way. Luckily, our defense is clutch as always. Poked the ball out from Trevor Lawrence and sealed the deal, but they need to start pressing the pedal in the third and fourth quarter when they're up. They just like to protect the lead.
Well, at least you guys still got the dub, so dub's a dub.
Still got the dub.
Yep, gonna need those.
Yeah, back even now. But how did your guys' game go? The Browns and the Patriots.
Gage,
I turned it off at half.
All right, so then I'll talk about it. Patriots, we went out there, we did our thing, went straight to the playbook, went right to the schemes, Everything just went according to plan. Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Matt Judon coming off the edge, unblocked like Gage said last episode. That always happens, and it happened, I think, in like another 2 to 3 times. And
it's almost like if you have any sort of knowledge.
Yeah,
pretty much. At all.
J.C. Jackson had a good game. Adrian Phillips had another good game.
Why are you naming players? If you wore blue and red on Sunday, you played amazing. Brian Hoyer played amazing. Everyone played good.
Especially if you were that guy right there, Mac Jones. Oh, yeah, and shout out to Jacoby Myers for his first career touchdown.
I mean, garbage touchdown, but congratulations. You got one eventually.
Brian Hoyer is the best quarterback that Cleveland has had in the last 15 years. Brian Hoyer, he tossing it up to Flash Gordon. Dude, that was better than anything Baker Mayfield has done.
Yeah, except win a playoff game, but it's cool. Against their biggest rivals at their place by a crap ton.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so anyways, we're not going to get into this. It was a good game for the Patriots. Browns defense. Don't know what happened. Browns offense couldn't get nothing going except for that first drive.
Would you like to know what happened?
Not really. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You got Joe Woods as your defensive coordinator who's inept and doesn't understand how to run a scheme. When you have fans from other fan bases that are shocked when a guy gets a coordinating job or shocked that they get hired, that's usually a telling sign. And last year, we could tell as Browns fans that it was bad. And then all he did was just keep doing like the Hugh Jackson where it's like, oh, once I have this, or it's not my fault, it's always something else. Once we have our players, once I can run the scheme that I want to, like, dude, you have the talent, you have your players, and you have the scheme that you want to run, and we suck. It's just not good. He shouldn't be coordinating because he was under Wade Phillips when the no-fly zone was going on in Denver. And then because Bob Sala is a great coach, he gets a job. He's not good. And I don't understand how he still has a job, especially with multiple defensive players coming out and saying we didn't adjust. Like, that's just pathetic.
Yeah.
You should be able to adjust. So you have a great offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels. Your personal opinion on him, or if he's a head coach, that is as an offensive coordinator, he's obviously really good. And then you got a really good offensive coordinator, and you got a moron that scheme. Well, that was never going to work. And then you have Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. And then you've got Stefanski, who, for some reason, has refused to change anything this year. Like, he won't adjust. It's bad. It's bad. Stefanski needs to give up play calling and give it to Alex Van Pelt, who is good. I don't know why he doesn't take it. Stefanski needs to take a step back and coach more of the team, since we are the worst team in pre-snap penalties. Like, we have the most penalties in the NFL. Like, that, we're not disciplined. Discipline your team. Stop worrying about the offense and discipline the team. And Joe Woods needs to get his butt out of the building. You can pay me a quarter of what he does, and I can go get you the Madden playbook that he runs and not change it. But by getting a sack or something. Like that, that's what's going on.
Out a little bit.
And we're a bottom 15 defense. It's pathetic. That's what happened.
Well, I'm sorry.
So as an outsider,
like, it sucks that day. But... Say it again, Dylan.
I was going to say, as an outsider, I think one of the things that I've observed, and I say this as a Colts fan, is Belichick just knows how to shut down an offense sometimes. And some offenses he can't, but I think the Browns is definitely one of those ones right now. But, I mean, he also did that with Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. He embarrassed us for, like, 3 or 4 or 5 games or whatever, especially in the playoffs. So bad that we had to say, hey, their balls are a little inflated or whatever. So
a little deflated.
Yeah, no,
the balls are a little deflated there, Bill.
I've been down that road where it's just when you go against Belichick, especially after November, it can be pretty rough because he usually has your team figured out by then. And I don't know.
And it's just like playoff football. I mean, you can be good in the regular season all you want, and once the playoffs come, any sort of like weakness you have is exposed. It's compounded by every team because you're able to scheme for that and coach for that, and you have time to do that instead of having to prepare every single week. Which is why the Ravens don't do as great in the playoffs as they do in the regular season, because you're able to study what they're done, and you've got a full year, and then you can combat that. And that's just because they're in the AFC North and I pay attention to them. That's why that was the first thing that I thought of.
So one thing real quick, the thing that you guys have done all year well is lean on your running game. And I think we
ran the ball 3 times in the second quarter.
Yeah.
We were down by 7.
You couldn't run the ball. But no, what I mean is, like, you have Nick Chubb, who's top 3 running back in the league, I feel like. And then you have Kareem Hunt, who's the best backup running back in the league. And
if Kareem started, he'd probably be top 10.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, as far as being like a backup, like he's the best you could ask for. But you have two of those gone. The first time that happened, no one was expecting Dearness Johnson. Now they're expecting Dearness Johnson, and I still think he played a hell of a game. But like, I think when you don't have to worry so much about the run game, it can lead to success in other areas. But
and then
I think
all
that
the
might be a backup.
Cracks me up. One, it's Bill Belichick. He makes a lot of people look bad because it's Bill Belichick. He unlike our defensive coordinator who can't change his scheme mid-game to like understand what's going on. Bill Belichick can change his scheme weekly, and it doesn't matter. He just changes it all the time just to fit what's going on.
There's a little mini me running around on defense.
Yeah, seriously, it's crazy. But then you have that, and you're not able to run the ball. You've got your fourth string right tackle starting against Matthew Judon, who visible bright red sleeves directly in front of him as a defensive end, and he decides to step inside as an offensive tackle instead of step outside and let Baker just get killed repeatedly.
The number 9 threw him off. He didn't know he was a rush ender, right?
Yeah, I told you guys.
Number 9 threw him off.
But so like a lot of problems. Like one for me, like I'm a big Baker fan. I believe in Baker. I think he's good. Watched him in college, hated him, which means he's good. And I watched him in the NFL. The problem is one, he's inconsistent. He's injured right now, and I think that's got a lot to do with it because before he was injured, he was like, I mean, he played Kansas City and he threw it like 85% completion, and then the very next game went 19 out of 21, and then he got hurt, and then dropped down from there. But if I'm the Browns right now, I don't know if I can re-sign him because you have no idea. Yeah. He's 50-50, and you can't re-sign that. But it also doesn't help that your front office has done nothing to help them. I listened to a lot of Brown stuff, and there's a podcast where they talked about it all offseason, how we needed to get rid of Landry, how we needed to get rid of Odell, how we needed to get faster, blah, blah, blah in the receiving game. And we didn't do it. We drafted like one receiver and hoped, and Schwartz hasn't done jack squat really. And we go out there and we have to play the Patriots, and we have to come back and we have to do 5-wide set. And we're going to an empty set, and you want to know who's playing wide receivers? You've got 3 tight ends, a wide receiver, and a running back. And sometimes you get 2 receivers. That's not going to work. You can't have a tight end playing outside receiver and expect to win, and then you blame it on Baker. No one's creating separation. I'm sorry, J.C. Jackson just had a field day. He was sitting there eating pancakes and guarding the tight end. Like, he does that to wide receivers. You're going to put a tight end on him who was like a 5th-round pick last year? It's just not going to work. And it's the same stuff that people noticed last year, and there was just no adjustments. And that just happens because the Browns were good for the first time in a very long time. So you're so scared to change anything because you're like, oh, but that's not how it works. You have to change every year. There's got to be revolving stuff, a.k.a. the Chiefs, who had spent like pretty much this entire season figuring itself out again because they didn't really change too much.
Well, and that kind of means like to a lot of teams that when you focus so much on one side, it can be hard to sustain the success in both areas. And so I'll take this into the Ravens because I think they're fixing this, and I think they're doing a lot better job. But the Ravens for the last 3 years ran the ball, and were very successful at that. They made their money, made everything off of that. And then, the thing that happened in the playoffs is when you're forced into a situation where you can't just run the ball and you have to pass and you have to be consistently gaining yards, have a whole drive of just passing the ball and being successful. Like they just weren't able to do that. But they did the Colts this year. We were up. They had to pass to win the game, and they torched us. I'll say that the DBs let them get torched, but like with the Browns, like what you're saying, I think exactly like the running game is great. It's worked very well this year so far, especially when you have your star running backs. But when you can't lean on your running backs and you're down from behind, you need to have a consistent game plan at least. But like with the Ravens, they went out and they've got the talent to do it too. So yeah. I think there's a lot of teams that do that. I think the The Rams are getting caught up on, and a few other teams like that. So I think that explains kind of the way that we've seen a lot of things shift this year.
The Browns need Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to run for their offense to work. Not so Baker Mayfield can play good, but for their offense to work.
Well, and you have Kareem Hunt who can take a shovel pass or a dump off pass and take it for 6 to 8 yards reliably, and he hasn't been there for a little bit. So, I mean, that's a huge part of your game plan right there.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, we play Detroit this week, so we'll get a win, and then everything will be great until we play the Ravens again, and then you'll see what actual team comes out.
Yeah, Ravens twice in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's twice in a row for us, and that's going to be nice. Hopefully they can spend a full extra week actually understanding what they're doing. Maybe just watch what Miami did or what Cincinnati did, which is all out blitz Lamar. And then have a spy. But that's not what's mattered. Other games, I guess.
Yep. Let's get into the weekend
recap. Before we get to the other games, we didn't really talk too much about the Patriots. I just want to say I think the Patriots are a very, very not very now. I think they're a dark horse, and I think they're a very scary team to play in the
any coach anytime Bill Belichick can coach, it's going to be a good team. I mean, they were 50-50 to win last year, and they had Cam Newton who couldn't throw it 15 yards.
Yeah, that's true. So, they're a dark horse, and I think,
and they got much better
with his experience. Yeah, they're going to be a scary team.
They're starting to gel well together, and they're really figuring it out now. And that offense is just putting in work, so they're fun to watch. It's gonna be
speaking of, and then kind of a segue, the Chiefs are now clicking again.
Yeah, they are,
and that is scary and frustrating too.
Remember, they're dead.
No, they're back, dude.
They're gonna be.
They had a pretty good game against the Raiders, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think the Raiders, if we're going into that situation, they're done. I think that. Yeah. I think their season has been uprooted.
Yeah, it's in shambles right now for sure.
Yeah, which is just really unfortunate because it's all off the field crap.
Yeah, it's all outside stuff that's weighing in on it and stuff you didn't want to happen. But
last week I was saying that the Raiders hit a wall midway through the season.
Yeah,
they looked great until they hit that wall, and then that's the last 4 seasons, I think, maybe even more. They just hit a wall and they're done. They go and get their 12th overall pick.
Well, this weekend was the weekend of blowouts, really. Blowouts and bad games.
Yeah.
I don't think there was only a couple really good games this week. I mean, Dallas just absolutely.
What would you say is the? Oh, sorry, go on.
They just beat the Falcons like it was nothing. There's not much to say because. Didn't do anything.
Cowboys, good game. Falcons figure it out.
Yeah, GG.
Dallas came in and scored all the points prior against Denver, find it into this game.
Yeah.
Then we got Washington and Tampa Bay.
That might have been the best game of the week.
Yeah,
that was a good game to watch. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, right down to the wire.
I mean that. Didn't Washington have like a 10-minute drive to end the game?
Yeah, I think that was something crazy.
I think they converted the 4 downs though in a row to keep extending it as well, like big third downs. It was nice. Tennessee, New Orleans.
Biter.
I think even though it was a good game and it was close, I think Tennessee is kind of showing that it's cracking without Derrick Henry, as it should, right, naturally, because he's incredible.
Main
but
part of their offense, main part of their offense, yeah.
And somehow under Sean Payton's scheme, Trevor Siemian looks good. Coaching matters in the NFL, guys.
Yes, it does.
Believe it or not, coaching is a huge part of the team. We got to talk about Indy, Buffalo, and the New York Jets. It looks like Mike White is retired, number 1 overall pick, and the GOAT lasted 3 weeks and it was over.
Bills, good job. Jets, figure it out.
Good job, Josh Allen, for beating me in fantasy this week. Thank you.
Dude, so I think everyone could have called that, or not everyone, but a lot of people could have called what happened to Mike White. But I think we talked about how, he had one great week, but I mean, there's no way I'm taking Mike White over Zach Wilson. And I think that was,
I'm taking Mike White, the GOAT, over Zach Wilson.
There was an exclamation point on that this week. Zach did that. He had an awful game against the Patriots, and I mean, he was leading the league in interceptions before he left. But
I'm pretty sure Zach's back this week, right? Isn't he back this week?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
Pretty sure he's going to be playing this week
against the Dolphins.
Yeah, so keep going. But I think he's playing now.
Well, I mean, if he does, I think he's kind of learned a little bit of what they can do to, get him going a little bit better. So I'm expecting Zach Wilson to look electric like he has been, but he's going to be a lot more consistent and less risky.
Next is the worst game of the week, and that's saying something because I watched Cleveland play New England, and that was Detroit and Pittsburgh. That was ugly.
Detroit is a new kicker.
Yeah.
Ugly.
What's up with NFL kickers, man?
Dude,
it's not like one of the toughest positions to play. So,
I know I could go out there and kick some of those.
I'm not sure what that last kick was, I'll be honest, but it is a difficult position. But that last kick was, I was like, did it get blocked? No, he just kicked it like 10 feet off the ground, and that was it. Yep. Okay. It was rather interesting to see. I don't know if it was super windy or not.
It looks kind of crappy weather.
And then, the game of the week for me, basically, because I told you guys I picked Arizona instead, Carolina came out and won.
Yeah, they did.
Carolina is a good team with a bad, bad quarterback. So it just depends on who plays quarterback. That defense is very, very, very good. And so is Arizona's, but Arizona's missing some of their best players. I didn't be able to replicate. And it looks like Cam might be starting this week.
Did you cut out?
Did I?
You might have. Anyways, just keep going.
Just keep
going. It's okay.
Oh yeah, Cam starting this week is crazy for the Panthers.
Cam is starting?
Yeah, he's gonna be starting. I think so, yeah.
Well, I mean he's a little more proven than
PJ.
Yeah, PJ. So I mean
Well, did you see he was asked like how much of the playbook did you know? He's like about 2 touchdowns worth.
Yeah. I love Cam. He's awesome.
Yeah.
To the Browns
fans
that are saying like, well, we should have picked up Cam.
I enjoyed it.
We should have picked up Cam. Cam's better than Baker. Don't be an idiot.
I don't know. I want to go.
Cam Newton, when Cam Newton was Cam Newton, is better than Baker Mayfield. Cam Newton last year and this year is not better than Baker.
Yeah,
Shut up.
Cam couldn't even throw it 10 yards without throwing it into the ground.
Exactly. That being said, I'm excited to see Cam play because I love me some Cam Newton, and it is funny.
It's better with him in the league.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so, and I'm happy for them. Plus, it also makes me a lot happier because I traded away Christian McCaffrey in my leagues, and now that Cam's taking their touchdowns, it makes me feel even better. Next game, Minnesota versus the Chargers.
Whew, tough one for the Chargers.
Dude, it looks like the Chargers is just the Chargers from last year. They just
kind of
games. They just get close and they just can't. Minnesota.
Wait. Are we doing our picks now, or what are we doing here?
What? Going over the games from this week, dude.
Recap.
You all right there, bud?
You all right?
I thought you were talking about games coming up.
No.
Well, this is a weekend recap.
Cut that out.
Justin Jefferson, 9 receptions for 143 yards, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about future games here for a second. That's my bad.
No.
Yikes, dude.
Gauged it for a second there with Cam Newton, but that was it.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Minnesota is still confusing as all get out. It's 50-50 on how they're going to play every week.
Yeah.
Are they going to throw away the lead, or are they going to actually play ball like they can?
Yeah.
Who knows?
They got a very talented team, so they can play with a bunch of different teams. They can hang in there.
They have the talent to. It just depends if they decide to play.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It just makes no sense. So thank you for blowing that lead against the Ravens. You bums. Just beat them, please. And then there was Philly versus Denver.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Hey, I have Devontae Smith.
I did take into account that Devontae Smith was going to have his birthday that Sunday, so
that's it. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Jalen Hurts decides that he can throw the.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I would have to go and watch that game again, but I think their defenses looked a lot better. I mean, they were like Swiss cheese 2 weeks ago.
Oh, and then the last one is Monday Night Football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rams suck. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They did not gel well together that game, that's for sure.
They just got exposed or something. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was so much more like the Rams losing. I think the Niners just woke up and just said, hey, we're choosing violence today.
Yeah, and I think
George
the Niners
Kittle did on Von Miller.
Yeah. And George Kittle, he makes that team go. He is really an amazing player to watch. He really makes that team go. Deebo Samuel's a G too.
Yep.
But, my dad's a huge Niners fan. And he's like, I don't get it. Why can't we play like this every week? Why do we play some weeks, not play some weeks? It makes no sense. But they look like the Niners that went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah. I mean, their defense looked a lot better, but when you add George Kittle, you add a arguably number one wide receiver and arguably an extra swing tackle with how he blocks. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's a crucial piece to have, and I'm glad he's back because I spent a third-round fantasy pick on him, and my team has been garbage up until this last 2 weeks. So
dude,
I'm pumped to have him back.
I picked him up in one of my leagues. Somebody cut him. I was like, sweet, I'll hold on to him for I don't care.
Well, someone dropped Dalton Schultz when he was going off, too. So they had like a bye week, and they dropped him. So I was like, oops, swoop.
But that's a good segue into our next thing, player of the week. I'm going to give it to Deebo Samuel, who played running back, wide receiver, and the Rams' dad for the week. So that's my pick. I think Deebo played very well offensively. Defensively, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna think of who I'm gonna go with. Specifically.
Shoot. Okay. I'm not exactly prepared for this right now. I do think Deebo should be the player of the week. I think as far as like offensive player of the week, I think he's definitely there. That house call he had on 4th and 5 was just ridiculous. I don't know who else even compares to that. I mean, maybe Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, dude.
I think he had a pretty baller game. I mean, there's probably a few other people, but no other running backs really torched it this week. I mean, JT kept up his streak of 100 scrimmage yards, so that's always clutch. But, I'll go Deebo Samuel.
Oh, I'm going to pick a little bit of a different one here, just because I'm super biased after this weekend.
Better not be Mac Jones. It's not Mac Jones.
Don't pick Kendrick Bourne.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick a different one from you guys this week, and I'm gonna be a little bit biased here. My player of the week is Mac Jones. Dang straight. Yep. 19 for 23 for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns.
198 yards, man.
I mean, it's not a sexy stat line, but I mean, 45-7 says different.
He managed that game very well.
Yeah, he did.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, he looked really good out there. So that is my player of the week right there, just because of that. And 3 touchdowns. Who doesn't love 3 passing touchdowns? Finally, so yeah, you take them when you get them, right?
It's true.
And that's who I was trying to remember the name. Jimmy Ward from the Niners last night, who had a pick six, another pick in the first drive, and then should have had his third on butt, but they didn't count it. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. I think he was the butt interception that didn't count.
Yeah. Jimmy Ward.
Oh, no, it was Williams. It was Williams. Never mind. Okay. Oh. But still, changed that game. 2 picks in the first 2 offensive drives. One of them gave another 7 points for the Niners to win that game. I think he played probably the best defensive game.
So Jimmy Ward, Defensive Player of the Week, huh?
Yeah, and that might be recency bias because it was the latest game I just watched. But
true, but that's okay. And then probably Mac Jones, Offensive Player of the Week. I know you guys agree.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Big news and injuries. Huh. We had a lot of them actually this week.
Yeah. Who do we start first?
Aaron Jones, probably the biggest name.
Only a sprained MCL though, right?
Yeah, so only 1 or 2 weeks. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Thank God he didn't tear his ACL. That would have sucked.
Yeah, that would have been really
speaking
sad.
Of tearing your ACL, Chase Young.
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
That's the worst injury.
That sucks.
Yeah, and he did not have a good year this year either. So that's just kind of like the icing cake for a crap year for him. That's not fun.
That sucks.
So hopefully he can get back next year and be the same as he was his rookie year.
Yep, hopefully he can recover nicely. Do everything he needs to.
Not as much an injury, but for the Chargers, their defensive tackle, Tillery, and Joey Bosa both have COVID.
Oh.
Bosa is out for the game and potentially next week's game as well because he is vaccinated. So he's got a 10-day thing.
Yep.
So that's another one. It looks like Ben Roethlisberger is still a potential for coming back. They don't know if he's going to actually be playing that week. It's still 50-50.
What was he out for again? COVID?
Yeah.
I believe so.
What?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, as much crap as Ben Roethlisberger gets for how he plays, he's just old. He's still better than Mason freaking Rudolph, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I was so hyped on Mason Rudolph coming out of Oklahoma State. He threw such a beautiful deep ball.
I'm hyped for him still. I hope he takes over the Steelers franchise for the rest of his career. I mean, 20 years, sign him up.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he would take too much head trauma, so probably not a good idea.
Yeah. I shouldn't go into this or anything, but you can hear quarterbacks and centers and everyone talking all the time on live television, and all of a sudden, Mason Rudolph gets his, knocked back to kindergarten in his brain, and there's no audio whatsoever. Just saying. Speaking of Mason, funny quote from Mike Tomlin. Asked if he playing with, and he says it's not like Mason Rudolph runs a 4.4 or anything. So, and that was his response. Another Mike Tomlin quote of just sarcasm. I love it. Sadly.
Should we jump into this week's predictions?
Yeah. Oh, last bit of news. Lev Bell. He'll to rapping now instead of playing football because he was cut by the Ravens again. Yep.
Maybe he shouldn't have.
Who got cut?
Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yep, Ravens got him. Should have never held out for more money at the Steelers.
No, good job.
Yeah.
Anybody that could stick it to the Steelers is good in my book. Le'Veon is my man. So is Antonio Brown.
So we're gonna have to download his latest album.
Say it again.
We're gonna have to download his latest album.
Paid. He did get paid. He got paid a lot by the Jets. So,
I mean, if that's what's more important to you, fair.
I'd be interested to see if Tennessee would be willing to do that, pick him up again.
So before we move on, I am so tired. Of every single time a running back pauses before hitting a hole, they have to say, "Oh, that was like Le'Veon Bell." Like, he's so patient, like Le'Veon Bell. But Le'Veon Bell would, like, literally sit there, look at, like, 3-4 different holes because the Steelers had, like, one of the best running offensive lines ever. And he would just choose a hole because he could just wait.
Yeah.
But, that was, like, Le'Veon Bell. He would just, hop around like a little jackrabbit. But I think just hesitating a little bit is just a normal running back thing to do. But because they have the word patience, they're like, oh, Le'Veon Bell. It's like a tight end who played basketball.
I'm sorry, like there's no other running back like Lev Bell. He had his own unique style and always did. And funny story about Lev Bell, I was first introduced to him. I'm a huge State fan. I was watching the game against the Michigan State, and Boise State always gets like one or two good games a year, and it's always at the beginning. We get to play a big school, and we're playing Michigan State, and he straight up just hurdled a standing person. And I was like, what the heck? It was like, they ended up winning because that carried them. They ended up.
If I remember right, he came out the same year as Gio Bernard. They both went in the second round, and there was no first round running back that year because everyone was like completely against running backs in the first round. So,
yeah,
I mean, he would have gotten first round in a normal year because he's like a 6'6" running back who can also play wide receiver eventually. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm glad he did. I'm glad Antonio Brown left, and I mean that's a whole other story in and of itself there. But no, I hate when the announcers have just their cheap tricks of like, oh, that's Le'Veon Bell. That player used to play basketball, and they're like, that's all they know about that player, and it's so frustrating.
If we're on announcers, is it just me, or am I so tired of listening to? Anytime that dude
listening to who?
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo.
Yes.
I kind of enjoy listening to him.
Dude, he's getting so annoying now to me. I don't know.
I did notice the last game I did watch when he was the commentator. I was like, all right, Tony, cut the crap, buddy.
This week he was commentating a game. I don't remember, but he was literally just singing a song to himself. Like while the game was going, there was a play going on, and he just kept singing.
Well, the guy got paid now. He doesn't care what he's talking about.
yeah. Like he just randomly talks about stuff, and then, funny enough, like his commercial by Tony Romo is the biggest Tony. That I'll just leave it at that. All right. So upcoming week, this week we've got first game on the ballot is England versus Atlanta, Thursday night.
Yep.
Michael, I'll let you do the honors. Who's going to win that game?
I'd like to think that it is going to be the New England Patriots, Gage.
Okay. Any other foresight about the game at all?
Nah, I don't want to talk about it too much. Just KB. Just watch out for KB.
KB.
Just watch out for KB.
I'll also take the Patriots. And I'm going to give a score, too. It's going to be 28-10. I think it'll be 28-10. Patriots.
Dub's a dub.
But, no, I mean, Falcons are – they can beat teams that are on their level, but I don't think the Patriots are on their level.
No, I'm also picking New England. And we missed this in injury news, but now that we mentioned Atlanta, Cordero Patterson is also out. Which just takes away another weapon for Atlanta. So I'm definitely going New England this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
New
England all the way, baby.
Another game that Dylan thinks is going to be an exciting game. San Fran versus
who?
Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville.
Oh no, I do think that game is actually going to be interesting. I think that both teams have a weird relationship with being consistent, and I think the Jaguars are starting to get a little bit. They're starting to figure things out a little bit more. I think that's kind of evident with how they played us. I mean, they always play us well, but they were doing a lot with James Robinson, which is always smart. And then there's a lot of missed chances that Lawrence left on the board. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but he missed back shoulders on Marvin Jones like 5 or 6 times. And if he connects on those, we would have had a tougher time beating them. Niners defense is better than ours right now, as far as the DBs go. But I think if I'm going to give a prediction, I'm going to say that the Niners roll on Debo and Kittle.
Yeah, I'm going San Fran. I mean, I don't have faith in Urban Meyer. If this is a fondling party, then I think that. But I'm taking. Yeah. The 49ers are finding themselves, and with Kittle back, and that's a couple weeks to it, and having that loss where they just got smacked by the Cardinals, and to come back and do the exact same thing to the Rams, I think they've kind of figured it out, playing football well again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Jaguars are sneaky though, because they do have a really good defensive line now for some reason. It's just out of the nowhere. They have a pretty decent
it's only against you guys.
Well, and also the Bills, but yeah, no, but and then Dan Arnold has been reliable as reliable gets over there. So I'm saying the Niners because I mean you got Debo and Kittle, and you just got better players over there. But I can see us looking back and be like, oh shoot, we could have picked the Jags here, and they can win. They're better.
Yeah, I'm going Niners.
Next one, Indianapolis versus Buffalo. Dylan, what is going to happen
at home?
Who's on?
Let's double check. I believe it's Buffalo.
It is Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo.
Yep.
Just double checking, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, Colts went. I'll let you go first, Dylan.
I'm going to try and not be biased here. I am biased, but I'm going to try. I would say we match up pretty well in a few ways. I think their offense is explosive to a point, but we rarely give up big plays. And Stephon Diggs is a big play guy. He's also reliable underneath and stuff like that, but they really shine out as a team when Diggs can bust the coverage and really get it out there and, mess around with the DBs. So I think that's something that we favor. That's a matchup we favor, is keeping their offense, locked down tight. The real trick is if we can get something other than Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, because right now that's a big no, and it's an occasional. Nyheim Hines has a great game. Our tight ends randomly have a great game, or Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman just take over. With the Bills, they have a very good defense, really great defense. We can handle them with our offensive line, but I think it's just staying consistent. When we played them in the playoffs, the biggest thing is we left points on the board when we were in the end zone or red zone, and that's just something that we can't do. And so I will say that we're most likely not going to win this game, if I'm being not biased, because I think we're going to fumble the bag quite a bit against the Bills, and that's just, we lose to ourselves mainly. But as a biased homer, I'm taking the Colts.
Boom!
I'm taking home as a 3-point favorite right now.
Mikkel?
I would love to see the Bills lose just because they're in our division and they are currently leading it. And I kind of need them to lose. But I don't know. They have been playing kind of bad. Except for obviously Sunday, they kind of spanked. Yeah, but it is the Jets, yeah. I think that'll kind of help them out a little bit more this week, though, and keep things rolling. I think the Bills are going to take it by 4.
I'm taking the Bills to win. I don't need to pick a number, because if I pick one, because that's NFL this year. They're winning by like 20s now.
Yeah.
Next game up, Miami versus the Jets. Tua
man.
Tua or the Jets? I'm gonna go with Miami.
Dolphins rolling.
Yeah.
Dolphins are rolling.
If anything, their defense can win a game.
Yep, I think the Dolphins are gonna win.
Yeah.
Keep it rolling from
if
last
Mike
week.
White's playing, he's gonna surpass Zach Wilson's interceptions this year, even though he's only played 3 games. So
I doubt it. He'll also surpass his touchdowns. So
maybe. No, I don't think the Jets have much offense going outside of Michael Carter right now.
Yeah. Next one, Detroit versus Cleveland. This is in Cleveland. I'm taking the Browns. That's not anything. It won't change what's going on within the. It'll feel better after you get a win, but I mean it's Detroit, and unfortunately for Detroit, Lake Erie bro, bad, but you guys just aren't good, and it's not just like they're bad. Like I think that might be teams I've seen.
Yeah, they don't gel well together at all. Really.
No. I'm taking Cleveland.
I am taking Detroit.
Okay.
I'm going Detroit, baby. They're gonna get they got a taste of not going home with an L, and they're gonna go and take the whole thing. So I'm going Lions. I'll stick by that one. I think the Browns win, but I'm gonna go and predict the Lions because I think they actually have a chance to poke a hole and get that first dub. And
I mean, if it's the week to do it. I mean, coming off of an extreme game, they gave up. Yeah. They literally stopped playing football. You got players that are mad that with the coaches, and I don't understand how they still have jobs. I would not be. Let's put it that way. We'll either kill them or we'll come out and we'll play really bad, and the Detroit will pull it out. We won't just win. We'll destroy them, or we'll lose badly, and it'll look bad.
That's a volatile situation.
Michael, you going with Detroit?
No, I'm going with the Browns. I did not hit my head before this podcast. No, just kidding. But no, I'm going to go with the Browns.
No, you're right.
I think they got to bounce back.
Next one.
Hopefully they go out there and do it with a big win against the Lions. So, Browns by 90.
It wouldn't change anything. Green Bay versus Minnesota. Minnesota, and it is in Minnesota.
Ooh.
I'm taking discount second tour. I don't care. I mean, not only did the Packers offense just not play good, and yet they still won. Their defense is playing incredible.
Yep.
I don't see Aaron Rodgers playing bad 2 weeks in a row. I think he got no practice for 2 weeks and went and played an NFL game and still ended up getting a win through a team win.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my Rodgers rate and I'm gonna punch that ticket and get the Packers a dub. So,
Dylan, are you gonna you're gonna pick the right pick, or are you gonna pick something stupid?
His last pick was kind of logical. I'll give him it.
He's literally picking it. I know it's wrong, but I'm gonna do it.
Just to spite you.
Let's see here. I'm going Packers. They got the best team in the league right now. They got
Yep.
They got a complete team. As long as their
healthy.
Kicking situation doesn't go to craps again this week, I think.
Yeah.
Even if they don't, I mean, you can win games without kicking PATs. So
yeah,
I'll take the Packers. I'm not going to be stupid.
Another game I think is actually going to be an interesting. Baltimore versus Chicago. I think Chicago has been playing a lot better recently, and it looks like Justin Fields is finally figuring out how to run the offense and play in the NFL at an NFL speed. So I think it could actually be an interesting game. And they also are getting Montgomery back, like a full healthy Montgomery. He came back a little bit for a few games, like for plays against Steelers, and then he got a full bye week, and now he's got this week.
just a little comment to your Justin Fields catching up to the NFL speed. At the beginning of the season, he said that the NFL game is slow.
Yes.
He said it's easy.
That's preseason, and I think he's now figuring it out.
And it's not slow. But yes, Justin Fields is catching up to the speed of the NFL, and I think the Bears are going to take it by 3.
So
Dylan?
both of you are saying the Bears?
Yep.
I don't know if I'm taking the Bears yet. I haven't picked.
I'm locking in the Bears right now. Justin Fields, David Montgomery, Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson to start catching touchdowns. Defense is going to show up. Bears by 3.
Bears.
So rookies against historically great defensive teams that within their blood of their teams are a great defensive team always suck. Especially against the Patriots, against the Ravens, against the Steelers, and everything. I think Justin Fields has looked good. I don't think he's going to look good against Marlon Humphrey, the beast of a front seven that the Ravens have. I think it's going to look about the same as the Browns with just a little bit better offense from the Bears. But, Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, just wrecked havoc on Justin Fields. I think it's not going to be as drastic, but I think the Ravens are historically a defensive team. They're not going to let Justin Fields beat them.
I'm going to go with the Bears, I think.
The Bears.
The Ravens, but they just came off the bye week after getting screwed in that Pittsburgh game where the Stripes made sure that the Steelers won that game. Yeah. When they deserved to win that game against an actually good defense, unlike the Ravens defense this year. Great. And Fields played really well. I think that happens. And one thing that Chicago does have is a historic defense, and they're really good this year. And I think Baltimore has put out tape where there is a way to beat them.
Yeah.
Which should have happened a while ago. The Baltimore should not be as good as they are right now, playing out. But with all the injuries that they have, they've done very, very, very well. And I just don't think they can keep holding on. I think Chicago wins. I'm going to go with that.
The Bears.
I think Rashad Bateman's going to have a great game. I'm going to take the Ravens still. I think that they're just a better team. And
that one I'm going to watch, though. I'm excited to watch that game for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good one.
I think rookie quarterbacks are not going to have fun against the Ravens. And, that's just my take. Yeah. So I'll probably be wrong, but I'll take the Ravens.
Next one, Saints versus Philly.
I don't want to bet anything on that game.
It's in Philadelphia, and there's a stipulation. Alvin Kamara did not play last week.
Yep.
It's likely that he will play this week.
Yep.
So if Alvin Kamara plays, I will take New Orleans. If he is not playing, I'm taking Philly at home.
Can't do that.
You can.
We need the pick right now.
This is my pick. I'm taking New Orleans, and then if it comes out that Alvin Kamara is not playing, picks Philadelphia.
It doesn't matter.
That is a totally fine thing.
Okay, I'm doing the same thing too. Then
injuries, absolutely.
No.
Just like we should be able to switch. If Green Bay is playing Minnesota and Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, we can switch it to Minnesota.
No, I think you got to roll with it.
You got to roll with it at this moment.
I'm going New Orleans.
All right. Okay. You keep that in your head for right now, then.
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously it depends on Kamara. I think that's the biggest.
Yeah. No. You have to pick right now.
Yeah, we're gonna pick it.
I'm
pick right now.
We're gonna pick it.
I'm just giving credence to what you said. Yeah. So, I am hesitatingly taking Philly. I don't feel confident in that at all. But I would say that Devontae Smith is catching up a little bit on being a wide receiver in the NFL. I think he's getting space and he's making some great catches. Goddard's great, and that defense is looking better. I don't think the Eagles have a great defense. Yeah, I don't think they have a great defense or anything like that. But outside of Alvin Kamara, the Saints don't have much other than their defense. So I'm going to go with the Eagles, but I'm super not confident in that.
I'm going to go with the Saints.
So I was going to go with the Eagles because I think the Eagles are, but I'm doing the same thing I did last week. They shouldn't have won that game against Denver, which is the reason why they will win. And they're at home, they're playing good, which is why they're going to lose to New Orleans.
That's fair. That's honestly probably what's going to happen. But
I'm going to roll the Saints.
All right. Ty God, Houston versus Tennessee. Will we see a divisional upset?
No. Titans. I got Titans.
Say it again?
Yeah.
Titans are still killing it.
Everyone picking 10?
If they can beat the Rams without Derrick Henry, they're going to beat the Texans.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really much there.
No. Fun game. Washington versus Carolina.
Ooh.
Rivera versus Cam.
Ooh, yeah.
Washington just came off a big win. So did Carolina. We're playing down in Carolina.
Ooh. Cam starting at home, though?
I'm back, and I'm picking Carolina again.
I'm back. Carolina. Facts.
I'm trying to be too logical, so I don't really know.
I'm back.
I think Taylor Heineke is a freaking stud. I think he's what Mike White wishes he was.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna take Washington too.
Yeah.
Right now, they're a little bit more complete with the quarterback that they know. They're still good on defense. Plus, I like Tyler Heineke, or however you say it, and I like Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, all that good stuff. So,
yeah, if only Scary Terry could catch some passes for fantasy.
He does. You just get so cranky about stuff, I swear.
No, okay, he catches passes.
He wants 25 points a week or it's not good.
No, he doesn't catch touchdowns consistently.
Your voice was good before, Dylan. It switched in a bit, but it sounded better. Just for clarification, currently Mikey has 5, Dylan has 5, and I've got 7 points. And it looks like Dylan wants to dig himself a deep hole.
Yeah.
Next game, which I think is also an interesting game. Cincinnati, off of a 2-loss streak against the Raiders with 2 losses in a row.
I missed that last little bit. My Bluetooth cut out.
We're doing Cincinnati versus Vegas.
Yep.
What did you say about? I said something about Tyler Heineke, and then I don't know did you guys get my pick for that one?
Yeah.
Washington, yeah.
Okay.
We heard everything.
Yeah.
Cool. So sorry, Bengals and who?
Raiders. Bengals and Raiders.
I'll take the Raiders.
Whoa.
You got Raiders?
Say that again, Dylan?
Yeah. I'll take the Raiders. They hung with the Chiefs for a little bit. I mean, obviously they got blown out in that second half, but the Bengals are fizzling. I'm just going gut on that one. Not a great explanation, but I'll go with the Raiders.
I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they're going to get back to the old ways of the reincarnation of Randy Moss just run down that sideline.
Just because you said that, I'm picking Las Vegas. Really, I think it's 50-50. I think either team can show up and play. So I'm just picking Vegas because Cincinnati's in our division, so they don't.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati because I think they have the better team.
Arizona versus Seattle. Russell Wilson is back.
Yeah. He was back last week, too. Couldn't even tell.
What are you saying, Dylan?
Is Tyler back?
Tyler? Yeah, he played last week. No, he did not play last week.
No, he didn't. We don't know yet.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. I think they're the better team.
Okay. Mikey, you taking Seattle?
Yeah, I'll take the Seahawks.
I think I'm also taking Arizona.
What the heck? You kind of just forced me into that one.
Whatever.
You just forced me into that pick.
I said, who do you pick?
You said you take it to Seattle. I said, yeah, sure.
Because you said Seattle beforehand. Do you want to change it?
What? No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to stick with my guns.
Jeez.
Seattle. Shout out.
And then another very, very good game this week. Dallas versus Kansas City.
Ooh, that is going to be a great game. Dylan, take it away.
Chiefs are back yet.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you said the Chiefs are back.
I know. Against the
I'm
Raiders
the Cowboys.
too, though, so that's also some salt there. Is it in Dallas?
I think the Dallas is.
Nope, it is in.
Is it at
Kansas City?
Yeah,
if Jackson Mahomes is on the sideline, they're gonna lose. But if he stays home, then no, I'll go with the Chiefs. I'll stay strong. I think they're back, and I think they'll win.
Michael,
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
It's interesting you say that because I'm also going. I think both offenses are great, except one defense actually knows how to stop the other team.
And that's the Cowboys, right?
And that's the Cowboys, yeah.
Okay, just making sure that's what you said.
Yep.
All right. Travis Kelce's got his swag back.
I think I got my swagger back.
Yeah, but I'm taking Kellen Moore.
Okay, Kellen Moore. That's
legend, baby.
That's facts right there.
Next one, LA Chargers versus Pittsburgh.
LA.
Pittsburgh.
Oh. I thought you said I have Pittsburgh. I was like, no, you don't.
No. Steelers are going to suck. They lose.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are going to have a bad end of the season. I think that they've been playing well above what they should.
Yep.
And it's going to slowly start crumbling. I think they should have lost 2 of the games that they've won. I think they were given the game against Chicago, and I think the Browns played absolutely dreadful themselves against the Steelers, and they shouldn't have won that game either. So I think their record is much better than what they actually are.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chargers. I think they have the better football team, and their record doesn't reflect on how they've been playing. Their record's a little harsh on them. They've had some close games and stuff, so I think the Chargers are better.
That being said, it is a home game for the Steelers in LA, so.
Yeah, well, Chargers all the way.
They don't have fans.
That's true.
All right, last game of the week.
The Rams this year.
Last game of the week, Tampa Bay versus the New York Giants. Danny Dimes.
Well, Brady never loses twice in a row, so.
Yeah, I already put yours in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bucks. Take Brady too.
Yep, I'm taking Tom Brady. I can't. We all did it last week. I watched a couple. I've been forced to watch a lot of Giants games because we're forced to watch them on national television on prime time every single year for some reason. And they have some of the worst, and I mean like the worst 2-minute offenses I've ever seen. Like it is bad.
It's awful.
It's bad.
That's a head coach.
Yeah.
But then again, never count out Danny Dimes on primetime football. Just no, screw that. Bucks by 40.
I think AB will be back.
Yeah,
they can have their week going. Let's see. What do you guys think? I think that's all the picks. I think that's it.
I think that wraps it up.